Thank you for
Oh,
your beautiful invitation.
yes. Where do we begin?
Yes, any special messages for me? Um, I always want to be uh, just any message, especially when it comes, be successful.
Yes. So as you just completed that meditation, we want you to ground the energy to understand that as a creator, you are also a co-creator of reality. You can allow the help of higher self. You can allow God, Goddess to participate in your creation. And as you focus on with harm to none, with elegance, with ease, and you have been doing so more and more and more, and it is working, isn't it? It is important to remember who you are, not just the reality creator you are, but also the co-creator, that you are ready for that expansion. To create something brand new requires a new way of being, to be connected, to and at the same time in that connection to know who you are, to be the unique individual that you are, is the key. Does that help?
That's very beautiful. I do have a question. Well, we said few weeks ago, be ready, and I was just wondering, like, being told to have make room and be ready. Is this am I is there going to be a change in my life now? I'm sure you know who I'm speaking of. Has been daily crying and crying over me um a lot, and so which it makes me feel good that someone likes me. But again, with elegance and ease, it is for the highest good, and I not said anything negative. I am going to have that communication. It's just that I'm just sensing something entering my life. Anything on that?
All right. So what we if we heard you correctly, and you can correct us if not, you are open to possibility, and yet you have something before you that needs to be resolved. So as you dream the resolution in meditation, as you choose, how do you want to respond? And what would it feel like? What would it be for you to have resolution? And also to dream, what would it be to have something new emerge from the illusion? Something yet to be known, something not yet in existence. The you that is available for something new is perhaps the same you that finds that resolution. Or you may find that you have the one that wants to know how things are, and there is the you that is open to possibility. And so balance is required to look within for those answers and then see what is reflected outside of you. Always go within first. It is easy to forget as you get stuck in in the illusion. You begin to believe, well, that's the way it is, which is, in a sense, it is true in that moment only because of the beliefs that you hold, because of the raw materials that have manifested that version of reality. For you to have something truly new in your reality, you must gather new energy. So today, this meditation of gathering from creativity allows you new resources. Allow the thoughts and the emotions to be new. Allow the attitude and the beliefs to change. Allow your choices and decisions to be guided by a place deep within you, connected to higher self. Does that help?
Oh, that is so beautiful. I do want to say before I preparing myself as we had that. I don't want to speak about the person that likes me, and um that if I'm going to open the door to communicate with him, that if I am choosing to move from the area, that he will be open to follow. Because where I'm at right now, it's if you take a provincial view, or the right word, I'm not sure what right word to use. There's too much eyes on eye, and I mean everything's good with elegance and ease, but you have a life. And as I saw him, it's like his heart is has I say it is I've never seen this before. It's hitting him really hard. So I have made decision that I will give him an opportunity to communicate with I. At the same time as I am doing that, I'm procreating. That if I have we that it would be best to go. I'm thinking up north in this area where there's some new things. Um. Anyway, I just want to say, how's your? Yeah, I need to create that if that is to be. That I think that would just be best. It would be very uncomfortable, even as illusion. Things can change to have too much eyes. It's I'm too much center of attention on where I'm at.
All right.
I think
And so there is what's coming up for you in this scenario of what's so right now is uh discomfort around being more vulnerable. Now, we do not recommend that you be vulnerable with people you do not feel safe with. But perhaps you can be vulnerable within yourself about what is important to you. And so sit with higher self and have that discussion of, okay, what if I move and he comes along? What if I move and he doesn't come along? As you begin to work your way through what matters to you? What is the priority? So what we sense at this time, the need for something new, to create something new, to be more free to be. And as you see yourself being those qualities where you are now, perhaps it is not possible in the current belief system. And perhaps moving will make it easier. But as you understand, to create that resonance within yourself before you move is important. To give yourself that permission to be vulnerable, to be at peace about what matters to you. And with that clarity, the communication will be easier. And when the communication is easier, then you are more open to creating a positive experience. Does that help?
yes. As you were speaking, I was feeling your the energy that I have been given permission, and I sense that he will. The way I'm seeing, it's all positive, and it's showing me positive that he will be would not want to lose me. So I think I'm creating it. He will say yes to that. And we are blessing. That's why I'm delaying of not communicating, not communicating, because I needed to hear it from you, beautiful Tara. And I don't mind the attention that I'm having, but it's just there's I'm just sensing this big thing in my heart that it would be the best to go where I'm thinking later on, which I'm thinking of this in a few more months. So yes, it helps me very much, and I'm creating it. So as you seeing it, like I was, what I said, I said to I did come true. Now the next thing is having that energy on him. He is open, and the blessings of Tara that he will be open, and then I'm comfortable to accept love.
So as you get comfortable first, within yourself. Be vulnerable with yourself. Allow your higher self to let you know that you are loved. Then whatever the communication is with him is going to go the way it goes, and you will be at peace, however it goes. So as you allow him to be more real, to allow the soul that he is to interact with you, to really know that you matter, regardless of what he's choosing, that you matter regardless. And that for you, your highest priority is to choose for you. And as you do so with harm to none, with elegance and ease, that those communications can go more easily, more fluidly. And part of vulnerability is sharing your fears sometimes, but only when you feel safe to do so.
Yes.
All right. We love you so. All right, John, who is next?
Helen.
Love you.
Hi, Tara.
To make it my life.
Can you mute?
Well, did I just mute you, Helen?
You did.
No, sorry.
All right. Yes. Where do we begin?
Going through high growth mode. So since last week, I was saying I clearly jumped to a new reality. And so I'm trying to I've been journaling, I've been mapping it out. And to understand the process. And then what I'm kind of focused on right now is I'm really surprised to see all the beliefs I have around my physical health and that I have adopted from other people over the last 40 years. I think it started with like in my mom's womb, felt unsafe in the world. I felt unsafe. But then in my wounding, I got my hay fever, or I got my I was walking in the woods wounded and developed hay fever. And
We're walking in
okay,
the woods and you developed hay fever, and what came next?
so for 20 years, even with like Claritin, when spring came, I'm like itchy eyes, and because it was so bad, itchy eyes and runny nose. And then after 20 years of this, as like kind of like desperation, I met a nutritionist and she said, "Oh, I can heal your hay fever. It's a food allergy," and then this belief of I've got a sensitivity to gluten and sugar and alcohol. And that helped for a few years, but then it slowly creeped back. And then I got but I didn't have any other tools. I didn't have metaphysics. I hadn't learned about, um, I hadn't learned that emotions are behind all the physical illnesses. So I was so excited about it. And for 20 years, I've been telling people, oh my gosh, my hay fever, it's connected to gluten. And proud of myself for at least having this knowledge. And then I got, hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's and the naturopath. Like after taking prescription medication for 8 years, wanting something different and not having any other tools. And then, and then part of it was I gained all this weight. And the naturopath was like, well, your liver's inflamed because you're eating all these foods that you're sensitive to, like you're fine eating pistachios and almonds, but you're not fine like to these tests, but you're not fine with cashews and peanuts. And like so then all of a sudden what I'm sensitive to like grows, and you have to take all these supplements. So here I am like on a dozen supplements. And so over the years, I've taken on all of these beliefs. And a part of that is like, I love food and I love eating. And um, so now I'm like careful about what I eat. I can't just relax about what I eat. And I'm on all these pills. So I did a timeline the way, John and Katrina have taught me. And then I started eating. I've been eating, for just like the last 4 days. Like if there's something I want, like a cookie. And what I really, really want, I love chocolate cake and I want pizza. But I'm planning to go get pizza with Harry. There's this place near us that makes probably the best pizza I've ever had in my life, but I've only had a bite. But it's this with restraint. And so I did the timeline. And then what I'm doing now is I'm putting my hands around what I want to eat, not all the time, like if there's a crowd of people, like at Quaker meeting, and then I'm like just saying, I'm trying to sync my vibration with the vibration of the food. Oh, and the other thing I did was then I went to my optimal self. I went into the imaginal realm. I went into to my optimal self, and I asked my optimal self to pull me into a parallel reality where I'm fine eating all these things and not having to take all these supplements and pills or whatever. And then I've been eating these. So then I've been holding my hands around the food, and because I know I send healing energy through my hands, and I can also feel like crystal energy and stuff through my hands. So then I've been putting my hands around the foods that I want to eat and saying, my body is going to sync vibrationally with this food and it's going to be fine. And I'm wondering, have I put myself into a parallel reality? Um, a lot of these beliefs I mean, I could go into even more detail, but who needs them? But, a lot of these beliefs I've accumulated over 40 years. Um, do I need to schedule something with John and Katrina to do a deeper timeline because they're so deep? Um, is it working? Is there something else I need to do? How am I doing?
All right. And so wonderful. So much awareness, which is always the beginning, isn't it, of change.
Mhm.
And so as you have done the timeline, so what are you noticing since you did the timeline? Are you more free? Are
I'm
you,
definitely,
what has
yeah,
occurred in your thoughts, in your feelings?
I'm definitely made the choice that I'm on my way. I'm kind of trying to tune in with my body. I'm like a little, um, I'm nervous, like, every time I eat something, then I'm kind of like checking in, is my liver inflamed? Do I feel like it's inflamed? Do I feel like it's not inflamed? How much am I trusting this? So I definitely am trusting it somewhat. It's not 100%. Like I do feel my body is, um, I mean, I'm not eating an entire bowl of pasta, but I am like, there was this really yummy brownie cookie at Quaker meeting yesterday, and you know, I'm eating a half of the brownie cookie, and then I'm eating, and then I ate a little bit of carrot cake. So I'm kind of, and my body hasn't, it's not been that bad. There's something going on. So I do feel like there's a nervousness, but also a commitment that I know I'm on the path. I feel very confident I'm on the path. So the beliefs are breaking down, but I can't say I trust it 100%.
All right. And so the optimal future you, who is free of those beliefs, has other beliefs. So what are the more empowering beliefs?
The world is safe. I'm meant to have fun. Um, I do get a lot of joy from food. I mean, the other thing I would say, yeah, and I'm just trying to tune into my optimal future. I mean, my optimal future self is just more relaxed. They're not vigilant. Like when they sit down and eat, they're not vigilant about what they're eating. So they've kind of already worked it out. And for them, food is safe and fun.
Beautiful.
And
Yes.
yeah.
And so for the you that you have moved out of, what was the purpose of the vigilance? How is it protecting you?
Um, I mean, the world isn't safe and there's always like to me, it feels like I said, when I was in my mother's womb, like the whole world is unsafe and nothing is safe. And so it just was and people aren't safe. So,
And how does
uh,
denying yourself what you want keep you safe? So we're just throwing these out for you to start to unravel the old matrix. So the only reason to keep a belief in place is because it serves a purpose. It protects
right.
somehow. So now that you're more free to choose, it's easier to look at it. Whereas when you're in it, it's not so easy. So now that you're out of it and you're creating more freedom around being, so you're going to create new measures of your health state. So you're still going to pay attention, but what are you going to pay attention to? Are you going to pay attention to the same metrics, or are you going to create new ones? You want to create new ones that are, am I feeling joyful? Am I free to be? Am I making choices that I want to make? Or am I censoring myself? Am I controlling myself? Am I avoiding the domination of a world that is not safe? So you see, the old you had a finely tuned, controlled structure of verifying that you're safe
Mm-hmm.
through following the rules, through being right about how things are, through isolating what is dangerous from what is not, and denying yourself what you want. So as you were pleasing others, your mother, for instance, even in the womb, you knew, oh, her will is more important than my will. And that's really where the healing is occurring, isn't it? That you
Mm-hmm.
have a right to have a will, that your
Yes.
willingness to choose is different now than it was because you're so much more free of that past. No
Mm-hmm.
longer when you sit down to a meal with Harry, you're not bringing your mother with you to that meal,
Mm-hmm.
to those
Mm-hmm.
templates. So now, free of those templates, now it becomes about, okay, so what's optimal for me right now? What would be nourishing? What does my body want? What would be healing? What would be joyful? What would be freeing? And that's a moment by moment state of being, isn't it?
Yes.
So at the Quaker meeting, it was, oh, that chocolate cookie looks delicious. But when you get home, that doesn't mean you're going to continue to eat chocolate cookies necessarily.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're going to choose moment by moment, what would be good, what would be delicious, what would be fulfilling, and what would be nourishing. And so now you're able to evaluate food in a different way. You're not going to throw away what you know about what's healthful, but if you throw away the judgments that were there before, perhaps throw away the guilt or any shame that was there, and let your body begin to participate in the choices.
But so I can't just choose like I want pizza with a gluten crust, a regular,
You can.
and
Does your belief support that you won't have a reaction? That's what you're testing.
right.
So you either will
And
or you won't. You can go eat it and you can program in advance. Well, this is the new me choosing to be free to choose.
right.
And with harm to none, with elegance and ease, I want to have this, make this choice for it to serve who I am becoming. And so then it becomes an experiment, which is what you're in right now. You're in that in between. Did I make the change or am I still in process? So you're going to program for what you want the outcome to be, and it will be what it'll be based on your beliefs, you see.
When I did the timeline, um, there's this, so I don't think I did it exactly the way John and Katrina do it. Like what I did was, um, so there's all these key moments, like in my mother's womb, my wounding when I developed hay fever, when I got the thyroid, started working the naturopath, and he said, "You've got all these food things." So I went to each one, and when John and Katrina, and I was a little confused about how to do it, so I'm not sure I sequenced it the way they do it. I started with mom and went forward, and then I kind of went all the way back before the first event. But they normally, they say, "Do you need a balloon?" And and usually I say yes. And this time I had a balloon for each event. And normally the balloon, when you fill it up, it floats and it just goes away. And actually, with each event, the balloon was so weighted, it couldn't float. And I've never had that before. And so I just sent the balloon down to Mother Earth instead. But is
Good.
that okay? That it
Well,
was so heavy.
what causes the balloon to float is positive learnings that replace the old beliefs. So when you're gathering the new energy, the new understandings, that's what allows the balloon to be released. So you willed it to be released. And that is a healing in that, oh, I can will it. And maybe that for you is the higher truth. Oh, I can will a different reality around my health. But you may need to add more positive learnings. Understand, okay, for what purpose did I take on this from my mother? So you became clear. Oh, okay, she's more powerful than me. I don't feel safe. So I'm going to create this construct called I don't have any will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the higher truth is that, oh, I chose that. It didn't just, I'm not a victim. I felt like I was a victim. I was a baby, so I was a victim. But actually, on a soul level, I wrote the script. I chose to subjugate my will. And that helps me feel safer. But now I'm at a point where subjugating my will backfires on me, doesn't help me grow, doesn't take me to the next level. I can't grow and expand by subjugating my will. I have to free it up. I have to restore it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the positive learning of understanding, oh, I had everything to do with how it played out and who I became as a result of it. What I learned about will and what I gave up that I had to restore. That's what frees it up. So interestingly, you did exactly the right thing. At the end of the day, you said, you know what? I'm going to choose what to do with this. It's too heavy to release, so I'm going to give it over to someone who is more. And that is your will. So you restored your will.
It's interesting because I've always been clear, even like, way before metaphysics was in my life, that like Mom and Edward's will is stronger than my will. The like corrupt president of the United States, whoever that happens to be, they like George Bush Jr., he beat out Al Gore because his will was stronger. He wanted to win that Florida vote and with the Chads, and his will is stronger. And I've always had this radar of watching whose will is stronger, and it's never mine. And there's people on this planet whose will is stronger. So it's interesting. I've never, yeah, it's interesting that this is coming up now because,
Yes. And so there's some ambivalence around restoring your will, because what if you end up looking like them? So you need a new definition, a new version of someone who has will. The ones that you mentioned are part of the chauvinism, a dominating masculine principle. And so it makes sense that you would have rejected your will. Well, I just won't have anything to do with will. But now that you're restoring, you have already restored the feminine, you're creating the new masculine energy, you're bringing those into balance. You need will, but you don't want the old version. So you need to create a new will, a new magic, so that you can create what you want with harm to none. So that it isn't about dominating. Well, I want that, and so therefore you can't have it. That's the old version. No, I want that, and everybody can have what they want, as long as it's with harm to none. Does that make sense? So you're not in that world at the moment necessarily, but it is coming forward. You are each making those maps of allowing the feminine energy to be restored, and in that the masculine looks different. There's cooperation, there's collaboration, there's interdependence, there's willingness, there's activity, but it's more conscious. The means matter. The ends don't justify the means. Does that help?
yes.
And so for right now, working with your will and redefining it is really, really important to your new identity, your new image, is to say, yeah, I'm restoring my will. I have restored it. Now, how do I want to express it? What's important about me restoring it from having had a story? And we want you to really get that it was a story, that everybody's will is stronger than mine. The purpose was to keep you safe. The purpose was that you knew intuitively, I'm not that form of will. That's the chauvinism. And that I have come here to make a different map for the world. Does that help?
Yes. What about my expectation? Do I have to work with that now, or the
Well, the
substitutes of
expectation is built with, so as you desire, as you imagine, it begins to build belief that you can have it. So as you create, so you were saying you see the food that you want, and you put energy into merging with the energy in such a way that you're filled with health. So you may not have done it this way, but we want you to add that component that, oh, having this food, this pizza, the one that I know is delicious, the delight and the joy and the nutrition of it is going to fill me, and my body will benefit. My body will benefit from me nourishing myself. Not with the physical nutrients that can be there. But when you go that route, now you start to allocate, well, this is nutritious, this isn't nutritious, and you no longer really get to choose what would be delicious. You have to choose only those things that are nutritious. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're wanting to be more free to choose. I choose what the resonance. I choose a resonance of feeling joy and fulfillment and nourishment and connection. What food represents that right now? And it will be different depending on what your body wants. So
And like I
part of
could
it
do that
is,
with chocolate cake as well, right? I
of
mean,
course,
like, so,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So it's an exploration. Do people normally deal with food this way? No, they don't. So you're creating something new here. And you're assessing, okay, where are my beliefs at? Did I feel good after I ate it? Did I have any consequences afterwards? Are there beliefs to clean up? Or am I willing to have my cake and be well? Am I at that place with my beliefs? So there are consensus templates at work here that you have to be aware of, that you want to disconnect from. So the template that says, well, chocolate cake, nice to have, shouldn't have it very often. This is a template. Is not going to be good for you, is going to impact you for days, whatever it is that's in your belief that shows up, or what you have known it to be in the past. Oh, I'm going to swell up, or oh, I better go ahead and take the Claritin before I eat it because, well, I know what happens. So anytime you think I know how it will be is a belief. So expectation builds belief. So as you build the expectation that I have chocolate cake and I'm filled with joy and it's a non-event is how you want it to be. You want it to be a joyful event and you want to be able to go on and do the next activity, don't you? You want to be
Yes.
free to be. You don't want it to register as a trauma or as a difficulty or as a problem. You want it to just be, oh, I had a piece of cake. How wonderful. And then you went and created more magic in some other area and so on and so on. So, and that's building belief as you successfully do that again and again and again, each time desiring, imagining, expecting it, then it happens, then you verify it happened. Now you're building the belief that it will happen again and again. Does that make sense?
Yes. All right. I can do this. Awesome. Thank you, Tara.
Yes, and it's really to be approached as what's fun about looking at your beliefs? Well, what's fun about it is that you can change them. And when you change them, you have a different reality. So don't lose sight of the bigger picture of, well, what's fun is making the maps and then living those maps and then making that how it is, creating something new. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're right on track. And the timeline did work. We hope you
Okay.
took that
So
away from what
I
we
don't
said.
need to do it again.
No.
I'm good.
No, just
Okay.
work with Will. Redefine
Okay.
Will. Beautiful. All right.
Thank
We
you.
believe Henry is next.
Yeah, Henry.
Hello, Tara. Wonderful
Yes,
to be
sir.
with you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, we're talking about will, but so in the meditation, it comes up again that really what I want to be doing is just walking through life, and everything just being magical, and allowing that to happen magically, working with people in a casual way to let them feel a magical way of coming about, and I was walking through and it feeling marvelous about that, and then for some reason or other, when I do think about that, it's kind of it's the elegance and ease that I kind of feel it's boring somehow, and there needs to be more friction. But I'm just creating so much friction at the moment, whilst keeping in mind everything we've been talking about. I mean, the thing with the bugs, the bed bugs, is I'm thinking a lot during the week about talking to my higher self and talking to my higher self about the elegance and ease, and maybe no bugs at all, and then it just goes, well, that's impossible. It's just going to completely upheaval my life, and it's impossible to do that, and I know I'm supposed to be acting quickly. Apart from anything else, working with the landlord, the law says I have to report it quickly, and I still haven't reported it, and it's been a while, and I started finding some live bugs today, and so I'm just thinking, where am I doing all this? And so much of it is coming of I can't see my way through, so it's or just give up. That's going to be the easy way. And then I said, no, I don't want to. I start feeling what it'd be like to really give up, and just thinking, but it's just awful. And then I'm not thinking about a lot of these other things coming up. And then I have some good conversations with people, and that energy comes back, and the magic does come back, and then I'm going to, well, I don't want to work intensely with magic for the bugs or for any of those other things. I want to go to the street fair, and then I go to the street fair, or I want to do open mics, and I went to the usual open mic, and I didn't get called on because they had new people, and I was trying to come to, all right, what's that telling me? And then I went to a new one, and I was called on and and it's just such an extreme, and I'm kind of I'm saying to myself, I've got morbid fear, but I'm using it as an excuse rather than trying to get out of it, and just doing less and less magic, and there again, so I came back from the street fair actually, and my computer was dead. Oh no, before I went up from the open mic, my computer was dead. It wouldn't come on, and so I was going, okay, well, is that the end of everything then? And I was going, oh, shut up, and then I was playing with the thing, and then I think, well, just get magic, connect with your higher self, and okay, and then I wiggled it a bit, and it came on, and it's just such a
So in the moment when you connected with higher self and the computer came back on, how much time did you and space did you give that to simply be present to, wow, how easy was that?
it didn't take much time at all.
Yeah.
And I'm being less present with my higher self, I feel, and even then, just saying, okay, I'll be with my higher self, and basically it pretty much just came on, and these things are happening like that. And so I know, yes, I know how to deal with all this, and then it's just this strong will not to do what I think I'm supposed to do. And I mean, talking about Helen, and although mine's the other way around, perhaps. But what is it I've got to?
So anytime you're rebelling is going to be your adolescent
Yeah. Oh, right.
who's trying to get your attention. And when you're in adolescent or child, you're projecting parent onto everybody else. So there
Right.
is no empowerment, there is no authority. There's only avoiding the domination of in the child or the rebelling against in the adolescent. And so as you really let in, okay, I have a problem with what I think is bed bugs, or maybe I know it is bed bugs, but I am manifesting bugs. And immediately you go to, what does the law say? And what stops you is the authority of the law. Whereas somebody else might say, oh, I can't find any solutions. I don't know how to deal with this. And their challenge might have been to ask for help from somebody else. In your case, what's showing up is, I don't want to tell somebody in a position of authority about this. So as you really let in, what does that tell you about who you're being in that moment? I'm afraid
Yeah.
I get in trouble, or I'm afraid that there's going to be some negative consequence or cost from this. So I'm just going to avoid the authority. So in that moment of defining what's so, you're no longer the spiritual adult who's
Yeah.
seeing what is possible and calling forth from the universe solutions that could be working your magic. So instead, you set it down and say, in this area of my life, I have no magic. I'm not a creator. I'm a victim. Now, when you step out the door and you go to the street fairs or you go to an event or whatever, now you're back into your spiritual adult. You're co-creating and you're creating and you're conscious and you're enjoying and you're responding and you're respecting the energy and you're all those things. But as soon as you walk in the door back into the apartment, suddenly that's left at the door. And so your computer doesn't turn on. Usually when there are issues like that, it means you feel powerless. And congratulations for remembering, oh, maybe if I connect with my higher self, I can work my magic. And it worked. And then you think, well, that was boring. Where's the challenge? Where's the excitement?
That's true.
So we would suggest that voice is not the voice of your spiritual adult, because your spiritual adult knows how to create energy and enthusiasm and magic and opportunities, which you show yourself every time you walk out the door and go to some event or whatever. But where the mundane, applying the magic to the mundane, you don't have to apply magic to the mundane. You can just do things by rote, and you can do things cause and effect, and participate in the mundane in the way the world does, whatever your beliefs currently support. You don't have to work your magic. However, you can, as they say, put the odds in your favor of having a more positive experience by choosing to consciously create how things will be. And that's the part that sounds like hard work.
And yet I
It's okay.
show myself that it isn't so often.
Well, the default then is whatever is in the consensus. So what does the consensus usually do? Now, for some of you, the consensus is, well, people just go about their business and things get done and there are no problems. For others, there's struggle, there's suffering, there's doing without, there's fear, there's dread, there's struggle. So depending on what the consensus is reflecting back to you in your environment, that's what your default is. And it becomes a question of, do I want fear, worry, doubt, survival to be my default? Because that's the choice that's being made by not choosing to create something new.
Right.
And you may not be that aware of it. It's not a conscious thing you're choosing. You're not saying, oh, yeah, I really want to struggle. Yeah, I really want life to be challenging. Well, part of you has become aware of, oh, if I don't choose the magic, then things get really challenging.
Yes, no, I'm seeing that very clearly. And
But when the magic works again and again, well, I don't know who I am. Am I really doing it, or is it my higher self? I'm just allowing. I don't think I matter. You haven't said that, but maybe that's why magic looks boring. As you really let in, the receiving of magic and miracles from outside of you isn't all there is. The magic that you are excited about are where you generate the magic. And so as you let in, oh, okay, I'm relying too much on the miracles, and that's why I'm bored. I need to participate more, like I did the other day when I went out of my door, through my door and out into the world, and I had experiences. And that gave me energy. So as you begin to be more specific about, oh, there's a whole range of experiences. And my boredom doesn't come from the magic per se, but it comes from when I go into my peacemaker mode of, I'll just let things go the way they go. I'm just turning it over to the universe, and the universe will deliver. And because I'm pretty good at receiving, that works really, really well most of the time. But I don't know who I am. I don't get to participate and know that I matter. And so then it goes into, why bother being here? And that's a challenge for anyone who's a peacemaker. That it's so easy to just receive, but embedded in that is, I don't matter. I have to give into whatever they want, whoever they is. Does that help?
yes, I see what you mean. Although the receiving has been, I think, a lot less than it used to be.
Well, yes, because you're struggling to allow yourself to work your magic too.
Right.
So I want to receive, but only receiving has resulted in me not mattering. Now I need to balance that out by showing up, connecting, working magic. And you've been doing that.
Well,
And it's
I
more
don't-
fun.
well, when you say working magic, I just feel great resistance to.
Yes, well, it takes energy and effort to be conscious.
Yeah.
For all of you, it's so much easier just to wake up into a default reality and say, okay, this is what is. In order for you to participate in what's coming in the future, you actually need to desire, imagine, and expect something new.
Yeah,
And that takes effort.
it does.
Yeah. And if you're desiring, imagining, and then not expecting, then you are in frustration because you're not fulfilling on creating something new. You're only doing the first two steps.
Yeah,
And so and that's why we brought forth the optimal future self as a way to help you understand that when you have it already in that optimal future, the belief is already there. Because desire, imagine, expect in cause and effect means the expectation has to be built in time and space. But if you allow the future to create the present, the future already has the belief, and you just need to receive their expectation. You still need to desire and imagine, but then the expectation's easy because the belief's already there. So it's a bit of a dance and it's a bit of a challenge because you're still in the template of cause and effect until you choose not to be.
yeah,
Until you remember, oh, I have an optimal future who's already created the reality. Then the challenge becomes, what do I want? Do I desire?
yeah,
I don't know. I could desire anything. Now I don't know what to desire, and I don't want to desire because it seems like so much work.
yeah,
And so we're helping you hone in on what could you desire by saying something new. Desire something new. Now you've reduced the range from all the things you know are possible to a sliver of what isn't yet in existence.
right.
Now that sliver is huge, massive, expansive. But it's less than all the things you already know.
Right.
And that your conscious mind thinks that's all there is. See, your conscious mind operates from what's known. Until you introduce the thought that there might be something I don't know. And then, as John likes to say, and then there's this whole other category of what you don't know that you don't know. And that's really accessing true possibility in the unknown. So as you allow yourself to be excited about exploring the unknowns, and so with your apartment in the state that it's in, whatever the state is, you don't have to reveal that, but let's just say you need to spend some time in your imagination feeling at ease, feeling that the problem has been resolved, knowing it's not part of your day to worry about it. You're not struggling. And you don't need to know how you got there, but your commitment needs to be on generating the optimal future where the problem has been solved. And what are you focused on next? Because you're no longer worried about that problem.
Yes, I've been thinking about that today very much. Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just saying, what should I do, which is the normal default thought, what should I do? And recognizing immediately, I'm not doing that yet, and I don't want to do that. And I don't even know how to get someone else to help me do that because I don't want to do it. Why would they want to do it? And so you talk yourself out of taking any action because, well, you don't want to do it. And so by by starting with what should I do, it spirals down into I'll just do nothing. And as you circumvent that by saying, I'm just going to skip that and I'm going to spend time in my imagination in the reality already solved. The optimal future me has solved it somehow, has received the reality of where bed bugs are not part of the issue. They're not in the picture. What do I get to think? What do I get to feel? What do I believe about myself and the world? And be in that resonance and say, okay, optimal future self, imbue me with ideas, with resonance that attracts the solutions. They may give you the solution. The you that has already dealt with it may say, well, all I did was this or that. Or I didn't have to do anything. Somebody else came in and took care of it. So but you don't know any of that until you step into that optimal future.
Right.
Because it's a resonance.
Right.
I want to wake up into the resonance where it's not part of my reality anymore. I want to be conscious of that. Does that help?
Yes, and it's a stretch, and at the same time,
Yes.
as we're talking about it now, yes, yeah, absolutely, and but then it just, I mean, it is a stretch, is a
Well, you can't get there from this belief system.
right,
You have to step into the optimal future self and their belief system, their raw materials.
yes,
The you that has the solution is different than the you that has the problem.
yes,
And so part of it is exploring, well, what is it to not have the problem? How
yes.
did it get resolved? How did I get to there?
Although, yes, well, yes, I mean, yes, you kind of suggested before that it's not necessarily about really knowing how you got there.
Yes. It's not at all. You cannot know from this state of I have a problem
Yeah,
and I don't know what to do.
yeah,
So those things that are problems that you already know what to do and you go do them automatically is not the domain that we're talking about. We're talking about a problem that has shown up where you really don't know enough about how to create it differently.
right,
And part of you is horrified that you have created it. And so the first is to ask your higher self to lift the shame.
yeah,
That, wow, I wasn't expecting this. What's wrong with me that I created this? Is a judgment, is shame that you put on yourself. And you're free of that. So that now you can begin to think about, okay, let's work our magic. And magic means connecting with higher self, connecting with the optimal future self, and building new beliefs, allowing new thought, new emotion, new attitude, new choice, new decision to emerge out of resonance. And when you change it, and it's so obvious what there is to do or what there is to be, it's as though the old you didn't exist. Well, that was easy. All right. We love you. And we want to move on to Carol.
yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Yes, dear one. Very helpful.
Yeah, very.
All right, Carol, where do we begin?
Hello, hello. I love the theme today, which was about exploration and growth. and this is the topic that I want to talk about.
Wonderful.
Yeah. First of all, I realized that I'm a magician recently. And I need to refine actually my tools. Even if Lazarus says time for practice is over, it's not exactly that. Anyway, so last week, the meditation was for us to go into the fairy realm. Fine. I've attended some Lazarus seminars going to the fairy. I took the plane, I spent money, stayed at the hotel, met my fairy and all that. Now, I feel that it's like a one-way love affair because we always go in meditation to that realm, but it's not what I want. I want the contrary. And I find very disappointing that we are creating a new world and some speak about the extraterrestrial coming here in 2 years and all that, while we share the earth with another breed or race and they don't even show up. So I want them, my dream, I have many dreams. I have a big bucket list, but one of my dreams is to have actually really physically in our reality, the fairies acting, proacting, being on TV, in films, whatever, and speak to me. I want to meet my fairy. This since 2008. So I want you to give me what you think about this thing, this dream of mine, and how, although I know how to create, really how to go faster into this or a trick or, I guess you suppose you say you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And so for some of you to have your fairy friend appear in physical form in your living room would be terrifying.
Not me.
And so building that belief is the really important. So your willingness is there, your imagination is there, and so then it becomes a matter of communion. What's in it for your fairy friend to come to your realm? So as you have a conversation of, well, this is what I'd like to show you, this is what I'd like to experience, it would be important to me for you to have that experience and to weigh in on the experience. And they will have arguments about why they don't want to do it.
Oh.
Or how it's dangerous for them. Or how the belief structures of the current time of the consensus doesn't support it. And as they share that, you begin to negotiate and you talk about, well, how can I make it easier? If you just come into my living room, would that be good? Would that be safe? Is there anything I need to add to my environment to help you feel safe? Because that's really what it comes down to. Not only is there a lack of belief at play, so you can have fairy in movies, in entertainment, or on stage, but to just have them walking, and some of you have the experience quite often that you see a fairy or you see someone from the underworld show up in your reality, and you notice them, and, oh, wait a minute, they weren't there a moment before, now they are. And so it's in your perceptions as well. So as you go to see them, ask them to change your perceptions so that you can see more of them when they are here. Because it's a bit of a shift in perception that makes them invisible. And so part of this is the work you're doing to create that map for your world. I want to perceive you. I want you to be more real with harm to none, with elegance, with ease. They are there. And now it's about perceiving them.
Okay.
But as you have a communication and you negotiate about, okay, when and how and what's needed and what are their requirements to feel safe.
Okay.
Because as you say, well, I'm ready. So why isn't it happening? I'm ready.
Mhm.
And so you have the strength right now, and your fairy friend needs that same strength. Does that help?
Yeah, and one last question about that is, do you know if my fairy friend that I met at the Lazarus seminars twice um, lives in my country or somewhere else?
We sense it as somewhere else, but it doesn't keep them from entering through a portal into your realm, in your space.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
And
So as you
okay.
allow for portals to be the elegance, then it doesn't
Okay.
matter where they are, what part of the earth they are on.
Okay. Yeah, because I sense maybe it was like, England, the Cotswold, this type
Yes.
of things. And I have the same problem with Leonines, the lions from Sirius and all that. This also I want to have communication with.
Yes.
And and I'm inviting them tonight in front of everyone. But before I die, I want these type of experiences to come to me. I
Yes.
feel like I would be more complete, and I would have better description also of them, in my writings, and more authenticity, I should say. And so these are some of the goals that I'm looking. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. And so journeying in your imagination, that is journeying in the more real. And so as you bring that information back and you write it down, grounding it in the earth plane, for you to interact with the Leonine energy of Sirius, you have to go to Sirius. Can you
Okay.
experience them when you encounter a big cat in your current society? Maybe. They are not playing the role of the true Leonine energy when they are caged or when they are in an environment where they are not free to be.
Yeah.
So the Leonine Syrian beings of light are different, though you're reminded of the Leonine energy here on Earth in the big cats and in the cultures that have prayed to them, so to speak, in the Egyptian world, for instance.
Okay.
As you let in, oh, okay, I roamed with them as they truly are. I was one of them. And so there is a wisdom that is to be brought back from them. It's the way they see the world. It's the way they created reality that is of interest. And that you can easily encounter in imagination as you go there.
I'll remember the word easily. I
Yes.
think I'd be a key.
Yes, because part of the challenge is you have these experiences and you have many of them in your dream state, more during the night when you're dreaming. But then you wake up and you say, well, why can't I remember any of it? And so part of it is giving your subconscious the permission, hey, I want to write this stuff down. So help me remember. And to begin that process of retraining your subconscious. I'm aware of what is the more real and what is the illusion. Help me bring the more real into my writing.
Thank you
Does that
very
help?
much. Yeah, the very last question. I know you have to go and all that. If I go to Africa and I see the big ones, anyway, every day I see videos. I belong
Yes.
to some patronized stuff. Then will I still feel through that the connection
Oh, yes.
also?
Well, the
Yeah.
land there contributes. It's the earth consciousness that brings that connection. So, yes, you will feel the connection as you encounter the big cats there. But it's
Mhm.
because of the beliefs of that region. The earth holds the memory
Thank you. Thank you
of
very
those
much.
relationships, of the honoring of the Leonine energy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. We love you so. All right. And so to each and every one of you. So tonight about magic and will, activating your will and creating those maps for your world, new maps, or strengthening some maps you've been working on for a while, where you're really letting it be real for yourself and therefore for your world. So wonderful. So exciting.
Yeah.
All right. And so we go for now with love and peace as we bring Katharina back. Until next time.